I like to take it back as well, actually, and talk about what got you into journalism. So, you said you went to university for it as well. Even before that, did you always have a kind of interest in journalism, or did you
Yeah,
kind of
so
follow?
I think as far as I can remember, really, I think I wanted to be a journalist from like the age of 15 or something.
Oh wow.
I think the reason why I love writing. I loved like I loved just knowing about things and knowing about a bunch of um, different things. And I always was the person that I just didn't want to do one thing.
Hmm.
I wanted to do multiple things and be able to, you know, I remember having three career options at one point, and I just liked the fluidity of having options. And I
Hmm.
guess with this career, you do have options because you can go into radio, print, and TV, and you can move through different avenues and stuff. And also, like I've just said, no day is the same. And I know everybody says that, but no day is really the same because every day, for example, on this show, you're doing a different topic every day.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a different feel, it's a different vibe. Um, then and the opportunity to then at the beginning of lockdown to go to radio one extra again, it's different. You're not stuck in a routine or rhythm that seems boring or doesn't keep you on your toes. So that's where I wanted to pursue it from, really.
That's fantastic, though. And when it comes to journalism, how does it work in terms of putting the story out there? Is there like a huge amount of research that goes into it, then putting the word out there, or how does it work in terms of journalism?
Yeah, I think with any sort of story, any idea that you have, it requires work and thought and being able to know how the story is mapped. And uh, what's great about this industry, you can always ask for help as well in terms of if you're not sure about how a particular program is put together or how a particular story or who you should be speaking to. There's always support on hand. So a story isn't as straightforward as just speaking to one person and that story is done. It's sort of looking at the whole picture of how the story comes into together
Mm-hmm.
and thinking about who makes this story and who are the type of people you need to speak to, um, how are you going to do it, which form you're going to do it, and you can always talk that through with somebody if you need.
Mm. Have there been any kind of particular stories that you've worked on that you've been really proud of to showcase to people?
Yeah, I mean, I did back in 2018. I pitched a documentary idea to BBC Newsbeat for iPlayer. It was an original idea which got commissioned and made into a documentary.
Wow.
And it was featured on my twin sister. And the story came to because I read an article. Can't remember what the article, but the article was inspiration for the idea basically, and it was a story about the condition called neurofibromatosis,
I know that, yeah. I saw you on Instagram, actually, yeah.
which is
Yeah.
you've been doing the stalking on
No, no,
Instagram.
no, no, the research, but I can't. But yeah, let's start exciting topic. Go on.
So it's called neurofibromatosis and can be known as NF1 or NF2, and both types of the condition are very different. So neurofibromatosis is where most people have benign tumors which grow in the nerves
Hmm.
of their skin, which can be internal and external, and can be quite fatal in some circumstances, but can be quite mild in other circumstances. And these benign tumors can be anywhere in the body. The thing with this condition is it affects everyone so differently.
Hmm.
But it's such a common condition, and I actually read, and I have to fact check this, but it's actually more common than like cerebral palsy and
Mm.
these conditions, which are quite well known. But the thing with neurofibromatosis is a lack of understanding and awareness around it. So at the time, my sister was this oversized menswear blogger, and she used to wear these fits, and she loves fashion. She works in the fashion industry, and she was sort of modeling these clothes on her Instagram and stuff. And I understood why she was wearing oversized fits is because she has a plexiform tumor, which is on the left side of her hip. Um, and I was just thinking one day, and I thought, you know what, like it would be great because I know how much the condition affects her. It would be great to raise awareness about this condition, also just know how somebody lives with it. Because I've never heard the story. The only story I've heard about this is Adam Pearson.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've come across him,
I have, yeah.
but he's the one with the facial, which has NF on his face. But I never heard it from sort of a young person. I mean, my sister has never met anybody like her as
Hmm.
well. So I wanted her to meet somebody who had it as well. So I just suggested that, oh wait, I think, you know, what if we do a documentary about you with this condition, and you essentially unveiling it to your followers, that this is what you have and this is how you live your day, and this is the reason for your inspiration to start this oversized menswear fashion page. I mean, the idea, this was nothing. I mean, the idea came from nothing. I didn't even expect it to get commissioned, but it was an idea that I wanted to put forward because, you know, it was an interesting thing to talk about. And at first she was sort of like, no, not doing it. Don't care what the idea is. Not going to do it. And then I thought, okay, fine. Because I don't want to be in a position where, you know, I want to feel pressured for her to do it, or that if she doesn't want to do something, she doesn't want to do something. So and then we had a couple of conversations, and I said, I feel like this is, you know, you could be inspiring people, because you inspire me, and I'm inspired by how you go day in, day out about your life. And I'm, you know, your twin sister. Obviously, I'm going to emphasize with you in certain ways, but I genuinely think that there will be other people like you in this situation who don't know how to come forward about it and don't know who to speak to or where to go. So I had this meeting with some of the editors, and I said, oh, I've got this idea. I got a phone call the next day saying they loved the idea, and I got a message, not a phone call, saying they loved the idea and they'd love to commission it. It was a long process to actually when it got made, but I worked with the Newsbeat team and a couple of producers and a cameraman on it, and we sequenced the piece, and it went out on BBC iPlayer. I think it got 1 million hits in like its first couple of days, or yeah, it did really well, and she's done really well off the back of it actually, which wasn't anticipated, but she did get a lot of good responses from people who had the condition.
Really?
Yeah, like she was in, I mean, I remember, and I just reflected back, you know, when she was sharing it to her followers, I filmed that thing by myself.
Really?
And oh my gosh, I could just, the tension in that room, because she was so scared to do it. And because I was filming it, it was a weird situation, because I felt like I have to detach myself a little bit from the emotional aspect of this, and you know, because this is a documentary, and you know, we have to get it done. I just sort of, in that room, you just got to let her have her moment, and then in the end, when it went live on her Instagram, it sort of just catapulted.
Oh, that's amazing. And how is she feeling now after the win out? Does she feel a lot more at ease to talk about her condition?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, she does a variety of like panel talks. I think there's a bit more confidence as well. And I think it's sort of inspired her to make it a mission to empower people with NF and raise awareness on the condition.